Welcome to the new age of college football, where you will see players refuse to play football games because they didn't get paid. I'm RJ Young. This is the #1 college football show. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing because we upload all the time. I make segments all the time. We do live shows on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays. Sundays and Tuesdays are 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturdays, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we always are looking to have a good time. Just went over 100,000 subscribers on the channel. That's the play button that just got here after we got to celebrate that milestone, and we're fastly approaching 111,000 subscribers. So do consider that as you are considering what to do about what you think about Matthew Sluka choosing to leave UNLV after a 3-0 start and its best start to any season in football since 1984, when Randall Cunningham was the quarterback and that program went and won double-digit games. This has been building for Barry Odom and offensive coordinator Brendan Marion for the last couple of years. Last year, they had Jaden Maiava, who was really great for them, and he transferred to USC, ostensibly because he's going to get a little bit more money, and maybe he was thinking he's going to beat out Miller Moss. There's still time on that. Also, you had Ricky White, who you might not have known about before you got to this show or even going into the season, but Ricky White finished third in FBS last year in receiving yards behind Rome Odunze, who was drafted in the first round, and Malik Neighbors, who was drafted in the first round. And off the start that they got is kind of ridiculously cool because we expected the offense to be really great at passing the ball, and they haven't been, and yet they still were able to beat a Kansas team that at one point looked like one of the Big 12 title contenders, and it still might be. They are 0-1 in Big 12 play, and they are 1-2, and it's been a long time since we've looked at Kansas and said, damn, they're underperforming. But one of the reasons we are saying that is UNLV goes on the road and gets a W against them with Matthew Sluka at quarterback. Matthew Sluka came from Holy Cross. Holy Cross, as many of you might know, is in the FCS. He did not follow Bob Chesney to James Madison, where they're also putting up numbers, and it doesn't look like they miss him at all. Like Alonzo Barrett went for damn near 500-plus yards of offense against North Carolina just last year as they hung 70 on their skull and took $500,000 home for the troubles. Sluka wanted to transfer after graduating from Holy Cross, though, for two reasons. One, he wanted to graduate from Holy Cross. Two, he gets to be a grad transfer, which does not count against the scholarship tally for many FBS programs, right? That's a huge deal. Getting a grad transfer is the new really great free agent in college football. It's usually a guy that's played a lot of football. It's usually a guy at a position of need. And then, again, it doesn't count against your scholarship total. So right now, they're like found money. They're gold. But many of the programs that were looking at him for his skill set, which is being a dual threat passer and runner, he's that dude that will run for 200 yards if you let him and throw for 200 yards if you let him at cross. But he didn't want to enroll during the spring anywhere else because A, he would not get his degree, and B, he wouldn't necessarily finish in time to be considered a grad transfer. Then he goes to UNLV, where they're fine with him finishing out at Holy Cross and joining up in the summer. And I think it's starting to show, at least in this start, how much more he has to learn about this offense that is really unlike anything else in football. Like Brendan Marion's go-go offense uses 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. And they run out of really cool formations, and they pass out of really cool formations. And if you got a guy at quarterback who can turn himself into a runner as much as a passer, you can play basketball out there. And that is what Brendan Marion is looking to do. Not basketball on grass like Urban Meyer's spread, but fast break offense where you are just long and fast on the outside, and you're going to try to use that leverage to stretch people vertically and horizontally as much as you can because you realize that you don't necessarily have the size on the offensive line to block. And this is just another offense that is taking advantage of what it has, right? If you don't have big, strong dudes on the offensive line like, say, Georgia or Michigan, you're going to have to get the ball out quicker, and you're going to have to beat people in one-on-one situations. You're probably going to have to find people in misalignments. This offense allows for you to do that. It's one of the reasons it's called the go-go offense. It's also called the go-go offense because he put it in at Howard and DC. Go-go dancing. You get there. I think one of the reasons that this is bubbling to the surface is because we thought that this was always a thing that could happen. UNLV's third party, someone associated with the university, verbally said to Sluka and his marketing agent, we will pay you $100,000 minimum just to transfer to UNLV, regardless of whether or not you start. And he said, bet, I'll be there. He gets there, and the money's not there. And they wait, and the money's not there. And they wait, and the money's not there. So finally, when they have had enough, and they're going, look, either we're going to get this money, or I'm going to have to stop playing football because it's the only thing I can do to leverage any action here. They said, we're going to pay you $3,000 a month for the next 4 months, which is essentially a slap in the face when you're talking about making 100 G's, you know? So what does Sluka do? He says, I'm leaving the program. Good luck to y'all. I still got a year of eligibility left for anybody that wants to come get me. And now it seems that UNLV is going to go into conference play 3-0 off the best start that they've had in years without the starting quarterback. Now, a couple ways to look at this. A, do you have somebody behind him that you think is any good? If you did, would you be playing Matthew Sluka? That answers that question. Next part about that is if that person behind him actually turns out to be good or decent, you're going to feel good about this if you're UNLV, and this is going to reflect badly on Matthew Sluka. If who you have behind Matthew Sluka is not any good, and you invite Matthew Sluka back into the fold because you finally paid him his money, I don't think that college football fans, particularly running Rebels, are going to feel good about this acquisition because the thing that you're running up against in college football is feelings. The NFL, everybody acknowledges, is a business. When CeeDee Lamb held out until Jerry Jones gave him his money, people acknowledge that's a business. He wanted to be paid for what he'd done in the past, and Jerry Jones wanted to pay him for what he thinks he might do in the future. And there is your contractual chess match and your compromise. What ends up happening, usually, if you are good, people find a way to pay you. Like he found a way to make Dak Prescott the richest quarterback in NFL history on an annual average basis, right? And that number continues to go up because of the value of the position, the value of having a veteran at the position, which is not unlike what it is in college football. As a matter of fact, you're seeing this really cool instance where you get to see this in real time because this is going to be the thing that happens. People are going to overpromise and they're going to underdeliver because they ain't got the money. The reason they ain't got the money is because it's a lot of money. I know we talk about it a bunch because, well, this is what we do, but $100,000 is a lot of money to anybody that doesn't work in FBS football at the highest level. Really, honestly. Now, on the other hand, what you're looking at is paying someone that might have a 7th round draft grade to be your starting quarterback because you think that they can lead you to a winning season, a playoff season, a championship season with the assets they have around them. The way I look at this is the way a person that was privy to Kansas State's roster management and resources had put it to David Ubben in a story for The Athletic. It said, look, are you going to pay $800,000 for a guy that's backing up the guy that you actually know is going to start? In this case, it'd be Will Howard to, say, Avery Johnson. Or are you going to take that $800,000 and go get an impact wide receiver or an impact edge rusher? That is the calculus, right? So at a place like, say, Oklahoma, where the veteran quarterback is Casey Thompson, he is there to coach and be an emergency quarterback. He's not necessarily there to play. Would not be surprised he's getting some NIL money to be on the rosters. Casey Thompson has transferred from Texas to Nebraska to Oklahoma, right? You're also looking at Florida Atlantic's in there too, by the way. You're also looking at it from the standpoint of a Dylan Gabriel, who Oklahoma didn't move off of, and Dylan Gabriel didn't move off of. The thought was when Jackson Arnold committed to Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel was going to play 2 years, and then he's going to go to the NFL. Jackson Arnold was going to be the starting quarterback. Gabriel gets his 7th round draft grade, looks down, says, I hate this, and sees he's got another year of eligibility to try to prove something to the NFL. Meanwhile, Oregon has got unlimited Phil Knight funds to go get a guy that has demonstrated he can win at the highest level and is a damn good passer for what we're doing. And they go get him. Same thing happens for Will Howard at Ohio State. We don't need the next great quarterback in college football. We don't need Jaden Daniels. We don't need 3,800 yards and 1,100 yards on the ground. We need somebody that can operate the offense, that's competent, and understands what it means to play big-time football. Will Howard led Kansas State to the conference championship in a year where Texas Christian was in their conference and played the national championship. It's an easy win. You get a guy that doesn't have to do more than Craig Krenzel while you get to grow up the guys behind him that you know are more talented, but they're just not experienced enough to lead this really talented team that has to win right now. These are the decisions that are being made all across the country all the time. That this particular instance is coming up where a player is holding out refusing to play has taken this long is really the shock to me. I thought this was going to happen at least 2-3 years ago when we started doing name, image, and likeness, because I don't think that everybody's got the money like they claim to. And that is why you're seeing programs get pilfered. Like on the one hand, group of 5 programs are complaining to get about getting pilfered, and then they go get a guy like Matthew Sluka that they can't play, that they can't pay. So what is it that you want here? I think you want fairness, and you're not going to get it.